Ego and Vice, episode 121, right now.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Born and raised in South Bay, lower class punk ass, I was Northwood grade. I had it made. Spent my nights drinking with my mates. Just a short bus ride up to PA. Red River Red. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. They still say that 19 years ago. Hell, I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town. Crocs and rolls is where I learned to play. Westman Tavern's where I learned to walk away.
Hey, this is Mike. This is episode 121 of Ego and Vice. Thanks for coming back. Only 2 episodes left. I have next week's, and I have the season finale, season 6 finale, which should be around December 27th, 28th, something like that. And then I'm taking a month off, maybe 2, who knows? There's no real schedule, there's no real rules for this, so I just kind of wing it. And around this time of year, I need a break, and I'm going snowboarding. That's my goal. In the coldest months, all I want to do is be outside. Go figure. Anyway, on the show today, I have 3 members of an awesome local Ottawa band. They are called Out by Lucy. Julian, Harrison, and Sam came in to Southwood Studio, sat down, great conversation. Let's get right into it. It's a bit of a longer episode, so no time to waste. This is a song off their new EP, Different Zoo, Same Old Monkey. This is the lead-off track. It's called Fukuyama. After the song, we are going to come back with Julian, Harrison, Sam, and we're going to talk about everything Out by Lucy, right here on Ego and Vice.
Left hook, right hook, everybody's got a nook inside the house that they gotta clean out. Whoa. And that's the underground, I operate illegally. I don't have a license, I don't pay a parking fee. And if you've been conceived, then you ought to believe it. And hey, if you believe it, then don't deceive it, just receive it. And if you wanna see the end of history, oh, my baby, don't you read that Friends
Hey, this is Ego and Vice. This is episode 21. We're back. As promised in the intro, I have 3 members of the band out by Lucy here. I have Julian, Harrison, and Sam.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Hello. Doing good. How are you?
Going very well.
I'm good. I'm super good. Because I'm going snowboarding this weekend. It's finally getting closer to the holiday season.
It is.
And things, I don't know, there's just something in the air. There's magic in the air this time of year.
Mike, I just got back I just did a Christmas dinner with all the friends, and I'm just coming back from that. Like, I took an Uber right from there to here.
Are you really full? Are you going to fall asleep halfway through?
I was in the Uber, and he was, like, kind of bouncing along, and I was like, Jesus, could you please, like, calm down? Because I was like, I do not want to hurl, man. Because I ate more turkey than I'm capable of, for sure.
Well, again, 'tis the season to eat the turkey, I guess. But what's the stuff in turkey that makes you sleepy? Tryptophan?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah, so if you nod off,
resuscitate me.
Yeah, well, I just took a first.
We got a lot of water. We can.
Exactly.
I actually just took a CPR class, a first
Really?
aid class, so I could probably help. I could sustain you until the ambulance came and saved you.
That's cool. Yeah.
Okay, so as we normally do, why don't we go around the triangle? I guess. Say who you are, what you play in the band, and I just pull just a random question out of the air. Who you are, what you play in the band, and what was the worst movie you've ever seen?
All right. I'm Harrison. I sing in the group, and I play rhythm guitar. I'm trying to think, worst movie I've ever seen. I think the worst is also my favorite, probably The Meg. Check out The Meg. It's fantastic, but it's
Great
terrible.
cut.
Yeah.
I am Sam. I play lead guitar in the band and usually mix our tracks. Worst movie I've ever seen. I feel like in a similar vein, maybe Tremors.
The worst movie?
Well, it's not. It's not truly. I think I just interpret it in such a comedic
It was
sort of
really
way.
funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
that movie's great. Kevin Bacon in his
He
prime.
rules, man. He
Serious.
does rule in that
Serious.
movie.
He plays Valentine. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
I'm Julian. I'm the drummer in the band. I don't know. I feel like I don't watch a lot of movies, so much so that I can't even think of one I don't like.
His life a movie.
It's too real here. I don't have to watch movies.
Yeah.
The movie of my life.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was the icebreaker question.
Absolutely.
Just to say. But welcome. I'm really happy to have you guys in.
Happy to be here.
We were talking off mic a bit that the podcast has just been rolling with now that you guys are on and the Ottawa local scene and friends that we all kind of know now. I was trying to do some research on you guys, and I could only go back so far. So you're gonna have to fill in the blanks a bit.
Man.
Yeah, you definitely are. You definitely are. You're like a phantom. You're like a mystery.
Exactly. We like to keep it that way.
So as far back as I could go was December 2018, but it was in Peterborough.
That's around. I mean, that's kind of where it all started. I mean, the thing is about the 3 guys you have on right now, unfortunately, just, for the listener, our sweet bassist, Gabriel Kamba, who is a very important part of the group, and it's unfortunate that he couldn't be here today.
He's working so hard.
He's working right now. He's at his job. So.
He's teaching the kids how to rock.
But me, Sam, and Julian here, we've been friends for, really, like, my entire conscious life.
Yeah, our waking existence.
Yeah, for sure. We got to know each other when you were 7?
I think we would have been 7
Yeah.
and 9.
Yeah.
And 9, respectively.
Those,
That would be
those
me.
ages, yeah. We met each other because our dads had boats at the same marina.
Wapoose Marina.
Wapoose Marina, big shout out, which is it's in the county, so like around Picton, Ontario. And we just like became friends when we were just like really little kids, and we didn't play music then at all. But
we were mostly up to just various sort of aquatic shenanigans as
sure.
kids, trying to put 4 kids on a single kayak.
We would build forts
swimming
out of, like,
out to
garbage,
an island or what have you.
Out of asbestos.
Impromptu
and stuff.
sword fight kind of shenanigans.
Sword fight. We'd like hang out every day, and we took sword fighting, like beating each other with sticks, like very seriously. Like it was like a sport.
Gotta have
for
something
us.
to do.
With my sister Sadie as well. And yeah, like that's how we sort of got to know each other. We hung out then, and then I mean, music came along actually like much later, really. Like,
I feel like in some way before we ever had like a band, we did feel a need to identify ourselves as a group.
yeah,
Like we were as
we had a
those
gang.
four, we were the squirrels. We
Yeah.
referred to ourselves
Spin Jumping Squirrels originally.
based on some sort of Mario.
Yeah,
type
Mario
thing.
RPG.
So that's
Rambunctious youths.
yeah, that's some deep rooted
Way back.
like the origin story. That's some deep rooted chemistry.
What
Yeah,
was that
for
date you
sure.
pulled in December? What was the first thing you found?
December 2018, I think it was a Instagram post.
Like a talent show, probably at my high school. I think.
Probably wrote our name in the sand or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I did see that one. That one
Yeah.
too. I think you were sitting in a house, and someone was playing guitar, and that was the very first Instagram post
Yeah.
on the Out by Lucy Instagram.
So I mean, if we skip forward a bit to like when we started the band, I mean, you guys had sort of like we were childhood friends, and then we sort of like through the later years of like elementary school, we kind of went our separate ways for a little while because you got like
I think we just our parents weren't going to the same
Yeah,
arena
exactly,
anymore.
yeah.
So we were up in the north someplace mysterious, and anyway, eventually we came back sometime in the period before COVID. Quite a ways before, actually.
Yeah, I think because we really started the band. I think came into reality like around when
2017
around
maybe?
when we entered high school.
I think that there was music before there was band.
Yeah.
Like you were doing ukulele and harmonica, and there was always some kind of noise happening.
It's also difficult because I think like for context we have to go even farther back than our lives. Oh no! Because Sam and Julian's dad, the blonde brothers here. By the way, for context, this is
I was gonna
Brothers.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so this is they're the Moreland brothers, Sam and Julian here,
Hello.
and their father, Scott Moreland, he was in a rock band in the 90s in Toronto, like an indie band
Cool.
called Admiral. And so like they sort of come from a very, like there were always guitars around, you know.
Like we had that music, and then in our house there was a rock drum kit, large amplifiers.
I think
basses and
having a
guitars.
drum set as a child is probably the biggest inspiration you can have to want to start
For
a rock
sure.
band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't even have to know how to play. You just sit behind it and have fun, right? And
Yeah.
then who knows? You're the first band probably in the history of Ego and Vice, the podcast, that I've actually talked to that were friends as like children.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
right on.
ended up growing up and starting a band, which is it's the first.
I mean,
Congratulations.
Like
Hey,
it's
thanks.
it's also it's like Sam and Julian are like, as far as in my life, probably the most like the friends that have had the most longevity as far as like people I've like continued to know outside of my family.
We
Like,
go through
Yeah.
like separate phases of being very close.
yeah, like we've had. I mean, you guys moved in. They moved in my parents' house for a while. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
And then we moved out together.
We've
to do
lived
the rock
together.
thing.
We've lived together
I feel
independently.
we have to commit to the timeline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so the band we kind of got the band together because, like I said earlier, like our
Because it was
dads-
destiny?
Yeah, because it was
Something
destiny.
like that, yeah.
But
How could you not?
but our dads both, I think, were into the idea basically of us playing music.
Maybe pulling strings
kind of
without
pulling
bugging us too
strings.
much.
And so I think that they sort of like they had a house. We're both from like really small villages, like originally. Like you guys are born,
Grafton.
yeah, Grafton, Ontario, which is near, what's a good landmark?
Near Coburg, it's about an hour east of Toronto.
Yeah. And then I'm from Hastings, Ontario, which is like outside of Peterborough. And I mean, both those have like a population of like 1,000-ish.
Yeah, Grafton, I think, in the under 500.
Yeah. So
Very few.
We're-
Technically a village, not a town.
We're country boys here, but yeah, like I think that our dads kind of separately noticed that we were kind of gaining an interest in music around the time when we were entering high school. Like I started playing ukulele and guitar, and meanwhile, like you guys had been.
I'd been jamming with our family really for a period of time. I think I started playing drums when I was 8, and then ultimately passed that on to Julian.
Started doing drums. It's like we moved. It's hanging out outside of the marina that really started the music thing, like
Yeah.
being in Grafton with a drum kit and not really anything else to do in that town.
Yeah.
I find that people that come out of like musical families that actually say they had a parent that played guitar or something, they always end up being like multi-instrumentalists.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys obviously play more than one thing, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So I guess when you were putting the band together, how did you decide who was going to do what?
That
Or
was-
do you swap off?
I mean, there's like a tiny bit of that, but for the most part, I mean, at the beginning, there was a little bit of flip-flopping between you guys. And before Gabe joined the band, we've had 2 bassists prior to Gabe. We had our close friend Jackson, who's a very wonderful guy, and he's another guy who you guys have known for.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
since you guys
probably
were
the
born.
only like friend I've had for longer than you, and I
Yeah.
think he probably held me as a baby.
Yeah.
Um,
He played bass for us when we first started at the group because he also lived in Grafton, like right across the street, basically, right?
he lived in Coburg,
Oh, okay, sorry.
but
he
you know,
used to,
we,
didn't he?
No,
Okay, sorry.
But we used to live in Coburg.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
The small
convoluted.
towns.
But yeah, Jackson started as our first bassist, and I think just I don't know, we just wanted to start making music, and I had been writing, songs and like poetry kind of before the band had started. Like I don't know, I just had that sort of I had an interest in doing that, and when we started out the group, at first Julian was playing bass, Sam was on drums, and guitar. I mean that's changed around.
I've always been a fluid
Yeah.
sort of role.
And then I would do my thing on rhythm guitar and vocals. But then we got Jackson in the group, and I think around that point is when we sort of cemented on who was playing what. And at this point, we were like, I think I was probably like 13 at the time is when we started. Like, maybe not. How old? Like,
That sounds okay to me.
I feel like,
Like
yeah, around
13,
12,
13.
14.
yeah, around that area. And that was like, you know, we just started like writing material, and right from the beginning, we never really wanted to have our set have too many covers. I think there was always like the idea of writing.
It was almost
music
frustrating
together.
at the start trying to make sets for like bars or shows with other people that were like 2-3 hours, and Harrison just wouldn't do a cover. Didn't want to do a cover.
I had no
He's
interest
like, we
in
can
that.
write it. We don't need to.
We'd do like a Beatles song or a Kinks
Kinks song, yeah.
every once in a while, and that was pretty much it.
What was your dad's band? Like the Admiral? What kind of
Admiral,
music
yeah.
was that?
Really, very 90s Britpop kind of stuff.
Okay. And when you started writing songs and stuff, what kind of
Rickenbacker music, yeah.
influenced you in that sense? Like you just said Beatles
Yeah.
and Kinks and
Yeah,
stuff?
like I was about to say, as far as like my inspirations, especially starting out, I think I really was into Ray Davies, and Ray Davies has always been like a really central figure in songwriting for me. Especially then, like I think I was always drawn to songs like Well Respected Man.
That's our
Yeah.
oldest
yeah.
cover. When we couldn't do any music, we were playing
Yeah,
that song.
it's
'cause
very
it
easy.
goes.
Like Village Green Preservation Society, like that record is crazy for me. Just like songs like that are very like story songs. Do you know what I mean? Like and have sort of like I appreciate songs that are sometimes like character studies or are talking about like certain interesting subjects that I'm into, or even just like little sort of I don't know like Anglophone cultural
Little English
niches.
folk stories
Yeah,
always
exactly.
tend to make the
Their
best
own
songs.
and then,
world
and,
and
then, and then
experience.
obviously like Out by Lucy I think is very I mean the Beatles has always been a cornerstone for what we do and what we're interested in. Like that's the language we speak to each other in, to be honest. But for songwriting, like a lot of the first songs I wrote, like Preston on Coca-Cola, or this song that I wrote that we don't play anymore called Librarian, were very much like about characters that I'd make. And I think I've moved away from that and I've experimented farther and tried to make, I don't know, more like thematic songs that are more relatable to people. But I think starting out anyway, I was really drawn to the idea of like a character study or a story song.
I think it's the way that I think all of my favorite artists tend to write in general. Yeah. Like Nick Drake and the Beatles, the Kinks, Blur, XTC, like all these bands just write English folklore stories.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Something you can listen to, close your eyes, and actually visualize.
Yeah,
See the
exactly.
song. I
Terry
gotcha.
Meets Julie.
What's with the Librarian? That's another thing that came up. Another point
Yeah.
that I had. Something about a CBC Searchlight. You actually submitted that song somewhere.
We were very aspirational, and it's always been like it's I think the thing about our band that is a little, I mean, it's cringe, but it's beautiful, is like our biggest fans have been our parents for the whole time. And like at sometimes, like, I think they'll probably gonna listen to this. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad.
I was gonna say, as long as you get along with them, it's good to make your parents
oh my
proud.
God, we love them. But my parents are texting me all the time. They'll find something like that, like CBC Searchlight, or
Like, you gotta get on it.
yeah,
There
there'll be
you
like
go.
You
there'll
could
be like
make
an
it here.
application
Part of the team,
portal.
eh?
Yeah.
The other day, Shane was like, "You guys, Blues Fest, the application, it closes in one day."
Yeah.
And
You
my mom sent me the
absolutely
River
have
and
to.
Sky applications, just different
they
festivals.
are DMing us.
Yeah.
They're like the street team.
And so
Don't miss.
my mom was like, CBC Searchlight's coming up, like you have to,
You need a recording.
you need a recording to put into that. And so we did that song, and it's such a strange fucking song.
Very bizarre.
It's super weird,
And,
but
It took a lot of effort.
I've always really endeavored to try to, we want to be as indie of a band as we can, and I've always been interested in home recording. So as early as then, that was a home recording, as
the
you can
task, man.
definitely
Yeah.
tell.
Is that one available on your Bandcamp? I couldn't find it on
No.
Spotify.
I mean, we're hiding
I
it.
think
Is it hard to
YouTube-
find?
I think YouTube is
YouTube?
really the
Okay.
only place
Yeah.
it remains.
Yeah.
But
Keep it a
I
secret.
recorded that on a
It's bizarre.
Tascam Porta Studio. Not the tape version, the digital
That'd be
version.
really cool.
All on tape. It's
Yeah,
always been on
always
tape.
on tape.
But yeah, aspirations have continued, and
Yeah.
our more recent works have been. Well, I don't know. You can listen to them and compare if you like.
Now you did release that song, which you just said,
Preston,
Preston and Coca-Cola,
Mm-hmm.
which you said was available on Spotify on November 8th of 2020.
It was, yeah. So first, like over that time, we did all of our first gigs. Like the first gigs from the band were, like I said, like high school battle of the bands type of gigs. Like that was when we started out. And then Jackson left the band, and we had one battle of the bands that I was like, oh my God, we need a bassist. And so I DM'd everybody I knew in my high school
This
who
is a
played.
serious
I was
night.
like, this is
And
serious.
to clarify, Harrison went to high school in Peterborough,
Yeah, I
so
went
that's
to
our
Canada.
original connection to
Yeah.
the town.
All right.
And so my friend Saoirse Hearn, shout out, she'll probably check this out. She was like, yeah, I can play bass for a show, and she did. And then she was like, you know what, I'll stick around. And then so from there, like Saoirse, our bass player, lived in Peterborough, and I lived about 45 minutes drive outside of Peterborough, but I took a bus into class every day.
Okay.
And so from there, like Saoirse was a real go-getter about shows, and so she would go around and like really go. We'd go door to door in Peterborough to
Yep.
bars when Sam was like, you were probably 14.
They're-
There's
13,
that
14.
funny era of going into a bar as like pretty visibly kind of like children and asking to play, and they're like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
we're going down to Mother McGinty's Irish pub, and we're gonna ask for a show.
We're looking for a night.
But 1 out of 5 times it would work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your parents hadn't already been there scoping it out yet?
No.
No, for
not
some
so
reason we
much.
were very independent on seeking out.
Yeah.
We would
gigs.
rely on them to get us to the
Yeah,
show.
exactly.
once we
After
had
we're
it.
like, we have a thing.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
So yeah, Saoirse joins the group, and we play. I mean, we really like I think around that period, like before we released Preston, and while Saoirse was in the group, is when we sort of cut our teeth as far as like learning how to gig, and it was really funny because, as we said, like we would go into bars in Peterborough, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we can do a show," and then like the typical amount of time that a venue wants for a show is like 3 hours.
we didn't understand that, like, typically when you go to a show, there's like maybe an opener, maybe 2
I'd never
openers
heard
and a
of that.
headliner.
Yeah,
That just hadn't
wasn't-
crossed our minds at
we
this
didn't
We
know
were,
how,
point.
like,
if we were the
indie
band,
shows
we
worked.
had to probably do
3
whatever the
hours,
hours
yeah.
had to be.
And
So
so-
we'd get there and we'd be like, well, they're gonna pay us like whatever $100. We're here for 3 hours. Like, let's
And so we played
let's
for
hash
3
out some
hours, yeah.
material.
And we really didn't do covers, so it was just like there was like this weird crunch where it was like we have to write a lot of material. And like Julian said, like I was really stubborn and I was like, I don't want to do covers. We're not.
Come on, people would like us more if we did a song they'd heard
I was
before.
an artist, man. I wasn't interested.
So it was almost like you were like the house band for the night.
Yeah,
in a way.
And we'd really piss off a lot of old guys who were probably trying to have a quiet beer
Right.
after work. And they
Cutting our teeth.
Yeah, we'd cut our teeth.
That's good though. You know, maybe they needed their beer interrupted.
And
anyway.
so Prestone came out a while after that, right? We at that point, you guys weren't moved in yet, were you?
No, I think sort of COVID started happening, and we got scattered across Ontario a lot further to where Julian and I ended up living with our cousins in Sudbury, Ontario.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
And then as COVID restrictions started loosening, we ended up moving in to Harrison's parents' basement and setting up a little studio and trying to record some material. Ultimately not getting hugely far with that,
No.
but
We struggle with the concept of perfection.
Yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
there seems like there's a big hiatus from Prestone, but Prestone was really released as a Father's Day gift.
Yeah.
I don't think we were ready to release things in general.
So like I said, like the whole time, like our parents are like watching us make music and just like trying to coax us to like put it out somewhere. Like our dad, my dad was always trying to get us to go into
Suggesting different
a
studios.
studio. Like their dad tried to get us into
they're
a
like,
studio.
we'll pay for studio time, and we're like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
We're not. I don't know if we're ready for that.
Yeah, and like exactly. I think we even understood at the time like we are children. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, those
Give
are,
us some time.
yeah.
that's pretty awesome though. Like to have your parents.
They're
Your
totally
parents sound
incredible.
awesome. So.
Yeah,
100%.
they're fantastic.
We couldn't have asked for more supportive people to be around.
And
starting.
so my dad was like, he was really into the song I'd written, Prestone, and we'd played it a lot, and I think it reflects in the recording itself. Like we were a lot less of a rock band at that point. We were, when we would play live, like sometimes I'd play on an acoustic. Like
We had folk aspirations.
we thought of ourselves more of like a folk rock band.
I played
I felt
Prestone
like-
with brushes.
Yeah, brushes.
I think I sounded like a country guitarist until I knew how to play.
Yeah, and
I
so
don't know how that worked out.
Well, you started with all that Travis picking.
yeah.
I suppose.
And so like basically we recorded it covertly and then presented it to my dad as like as a present to him.
A gift we made
And how
in
to
your
go-
basement.
and?
He loved it. He shed tears. He loved
Oh,
it.
that's
And
nice.
it is strange because it's a song. I mean, have you listened to the tune?
I did listen to that. Yeah, I listened to everything that's on your Spotify.
Oh, thank you,
anyway.
man. That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Prestone is a weird song to like give to your dad because
It's about paternicide.
yeah, it's about killing your father. Super weird. Super weird.
There's a plot twist.
Yeah,
there.
I know. Super.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, Happy Father's Day. Wink.
You know what's coming.
Yeah. So I wrote the song when I was I think like 14, around that,
Something like that.
and
It was the first like Out by Lucy
yeah,
song.
it was one of the first ones I presented to Sam and Julian to like do as a group, and I wrote it about I was a big fan of Forensic Files. It's like a real true crime TV show. That was like it's like a public access TV thing, and I remember I was watching one episode, and it was about this woman named Diane, and basically she was like a super religious woman, like a very dyed-in-the-wool Christian, and her family, like she had a son with autism, and her husband was like, battling alcoholism, and so she like kind of loses her marbles, and then decides like, the best way to deal with them was to just like sort of bring them to heaven, And so like
religiously call my
yeah,
family.
like religiously calling her family. And I remember I watched that when I was a kid, and it really like, it had a huge impact on me. And so
Did she do it?
Yeah, she killed all of,
Okay,
and
all right.
she killed all of her family. And there's the one refrain in the song. Once upon a time there was 6, now there's just 3. Only the quiet ones left: my mom, my sister, and me. And that's actually a direct quote from one of her daughter's journals. Yeah, I know, crazy. And so, I mean, it's a very, really, really dark song, but my dad thought it was really cool, and so we recorded for him, and he was very stoked about it. And I think we're proud of it. I think it's a good tune.
It definitely sounds like children trying to approach a
Yeah.
subject that they're maybe not quite ready for.
It's
Well,
sort of hard
certain
having
ways.
it be the thing we've had out because
Yeah.
it feels like it doesn't really represent what we've been doing in this city.
Well, now it begs for another listen because now I know what it's about.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I know,
Listen in.
I know the
listen in.
context of it, so it's crazy. Well, it's good though, awesome, and I'm glad he liked it.
Yeah, he was big on
And
it.
he probably it was the sentiment and the
Yeah.
song. Like the content was probably cool.
And we only had a few at that
Please
point.
please don't murder me.
Yeah,
I trust
that
you
was
won't.
implied. That was implied. Dad, I will not murder you if you listen to this.
You should have
You're
told him that
safe.
right
You're
before.
safe.
Okay, first off, I'm not gonna murder
Writing
you.
that down. Yeah.
This summer I read a lot about snorkeling. Yeah, this summer I left a couple things unsaid. I read a lot about snorkeling. It's such a thing to do. Nothing really new about it. Such a thing to do. And with you I read a lot about snorkeling. Harry Henry Boulder once was an author. He shipped his books to Japan. But by the time that he got older, he fell into a trance. Snorkeling's rather lovely, isn't it true? I'm rolling back from Durban with a gram in my shoe. Oh, baby, there they are, rolling coins in a big clay jar. It's such a thing to do. Nothing really new about it. Such a thing to do. And with you I read a lot about snorkeling, yeah. I got a Dublin Wallace, he's such a lovely kid. I bring him to the river, and me and him we swim. I want him to be healthy, I want him big and strong. As long as I'm snorkeling, nothing can go wrong. It's such a thing to do. Nothing really new about it. Such a thing to do. And with you I read a lot about snorkeling. Richard McLaren tried to catch a heron and fry him up in his pan. But by the time that he got to the river, the fish is caught and grilled that man. What you walk, what you wear, and what you secrete, all the colors are important. Stone to the bone, flip-flops on my feet. Man, I'd kill for something important. It's such a thing to do. Nothing really new about it. Such a thing to do. And with you I read a lot about snorkeling. Yeah, I read a lot about snorkeling. Yeah.
Okay, so from my research, what I saw is that most of that early stuff, right up until Preston and Coca-Cola, was from Peterborough, and then when you came back on Instagram, anyway, it started showing up as Ottawa. You're having Ottawa gigs. I saw flyers from like Live on Elgin, Avant Garde, Rainbow, the Dom. What was the transition? How did everyone end up from there to here? I know you have lots of travel stories,
Yeah.
You mentioned the basement.
Yeah.
After
so-
Sudbury.
Sometime around while we were recording Prestone and recording a few other demos that have yet to surface in any real release, we were sitting in a river as part of our nightly regimen
Yeah, we used to hang out
to
in the
inspire
river.
ourselves. We'd get into the scungy water and
Float.
bathe around. And so in our nightly process, we're thinking, what are we gonna do with this? Like,
High
is this-
school's
is
coming
this
to a
serious?
close.
We've got about a year left of their high school. I still had a ways to go, but that didn't concern me. Floating in the river, we're thinking, where are we going with this? And
There's a few
I think
options.
you guys are both thinking about applying to a few universities.
Saoirse was
Saoirse, among her list of fancy options was U Ottawa. And so we're like, our only
Let's
chance
apply
of
there,
keeping
then.
this bass player is if we go to the same city that they're thinking of going to.
Yeah.
And so
sound
we
theory,
choose.
sound planning.
Yeah, exactly. So we choose Ottawa, and of course, as soon as you guys accept,
University of
that you're going to
Ottawa.
go to University of Ottawa, Saoirse tells us that she's actually going to go to Sciences Po
In
in
France.
France.
Awesome acceptance.
So
Yeah.
she moves
Very
to
exciting.
France, which is really cool.
She's
for
in
her.
Dubai right now.
Now she's
Wow.
in Dubai. I still don't know how that happened, but anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, we decide to move in together to Ottawa still, because at this point, they know what they're doing. I am still in grade 11 when we move out, and so I complete my last year of high school in Ottawa.
So yeah, we all moved out together, and then Gabe joins the picture because Gabe and Saoirse had been talking on the internet. So our old bassist and our current bassist had sort of been communing on the internet,
They're
and
mysterious. I
Yeah,
don't know. The
yeah.
internet connected them.
and so then basically, Saoirse tells Gabe about the predicament of oh yeah, I'm in this band. Gabe listens to our music. He thinks it's cool. And she's like, I'm leaving, and Gabe is like, oh,
And he's an Ottawa local.
that's interesting. And so
We're all driving to Ottawa separately. We're in our
Mhm.
parents' cars at separate parties. We got our instruments in the back, and we get a text on the Out by Lucy account.
yeah, and Gabe's like, heard you guys are looking for a bassist, and then so
That was pretty exciting when you're moving
Yeah.
to a new city to do a band, and you're pretty uncertain about that factor,
yeah,
and you just have a guy.
we were very very stoked to have
It is destiny, I'm telling you.
Gabe join up
Serious.
for real. And then so we didn't really even hit the ground running as well. I think for the first little while, when we moved in, we were mainly kind of trying to figure out how to live as
Yeah,
humans.
I think our first few months, it was we've gone from living with our various sets of parents or each other's
Mm-hmm.
parents or however we've been living through COVID into we are three young men living in a very small house together.
Duplex.
Yeah, duplex.
And
Drum kit
trying
in
to
the
figure out how to
duplex.
not piss off your neighbors and feed
We
yourself and
failed.
get a job and all these things kind of took precedence
Yeah.
over the band.
Had you
for
been
a
to
few
Ottawa
months.
before? Maybe, yeah. Had you been here before?
as
I'd
a
been
child,
I'd been once
Yeah.
in
Just
my
visiting. Eh?
I'd
yeah,
never
it was
been.
in my history class to see the War Museum.
Right.
My sister had a French exchange student, and so we came because she wanted to see Ottawa, so I saw Ottawa when I was 10 or so. But
Big
besides
capital.
that. And
Parliamentary.
Strangers in a strange land.
yeah, it
Yep.
was crazy.
Didn't know
cool.
anyone except
No.
for Gabe.
Except for Gabe, he was cool. And so I didn't go right into school. I was just working. Julian was going to the University of Ottawa, and then Sam he just started going to Lisgar High School, and that was the first. We didn't really hit like I said, we didn't really just start doing gigs right away or anything because we really weren't necessarily sure how you entered that world
We had to stagnate and set up a studio and,
Yeah.
and prepare ourselves.
and practice and just go around and ask
And
people.
it was going from trying to book ourselves in bars where we knew it would pretty much only be old men and our friends wouldn't even be allowed in because, bars are 19 plus.
Well, you had the experience from before. Did you follow the same pattern of just going into places and saying, "Hey, can we play here tonight?"
the deciding factor I think in that arrangement was really I think Saoirse had a me. We're not super shy, but I think that she was just bold enough to really go for it in a way that maybe we
And
weren't.
we felt busy.
We-
We
yeah.
were looking for money. And
looking for jobs, trying to survive. That was important.
But we kept the Instagram going.
Yeah.
And I think through that, some
I think
promoters
literally
started to
just
see
making
us.
a little bit of merch and
Yeah.
us just running around the city with our name on a bag and kind of being loud personalities about being in the band a little bit.
That
Hanging
that
around
got
in
us
coffee
going.
shops.
Going to Peak and stuff even I think was
Yeah.
important. And we talked to Isabel Synths. I remember I was like, how do I get a show? and she gave me some tips. And then I think our breakthrough in the city was we got a DM from UO Pride, and they do Queer Connections in town.
Or that was the first Queer Connections, I think.
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
I think
Okay,
that
cool.
they it was starting around when we were there.
Yeah, and that was a really sweet show, and it basically they approached us and were like, hey, do you guys want to play a sold out show at Club Saw?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And it's like,
Oh, no, I
it's-
was going to say no, not at
Yeah,
all.
no, we're not
it's-
interested.
It's a non-profit show, but it's a good opportunity to get out there. and for a good cause. So we thought
we were very stoked.
Let's do it.
That's exciting. Yeah.
And they gave us a start doing
And
shows.
there's that kind of like frosh energy, and everyone was excited to be out of COVID and just like 3 bands. And
And it definitely put us in front of like 300 university students that we had never seen before.
Good start.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I felt like you
absolutely.
couldn't ask for better, really.
No,
you go to Starbucks after, and like maybe a barista would be like,
Yeah, that was
Out by
cool.
Lucy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feels
it's-
really
it's-
good.
It's funny all those little happy accidents. I was gonna ask how you actually cracked it, how you got in, and it's just stuff just happens as it happens. And
Yeah.
sometimes
And
you have to pound the pavement a bit and just get your name and
Just
music
walk
out
around
there
and be like, I'm in a band.
network and talk.
meeting the
Really
other
lame.
guys who are in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've really seeked out a show since, other than
Yeah.
for the upcoming tour.
Yeah,
that
we
we're
have.
planning
We've been
right now,
seeking.
but
We've been seeking. But yeah, in
Generally
general, we're
speaking,
very lazy.
people
Just-
reach out to us and we say, that seems like a
That's
fun
cool.
show, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
That's the best when you establish that kind of where you can turn down a show. It'd be like not this one.
Yeah.
That was
You
a
know?
funny kind of where we were accepting every single show, and
Yeah, it was a
then
bit of
there
a
just
learning
reached this
curve.
moment where instead of having no shows, we had like 4 or 5 shows at the Avant-Garde, and we were like, whoa, we can't, that's not
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah,
we had to draw back a little bit, and that was another thing of just like talking to other musicians. Like I think Sean was he kind of opened our eyes to like how Sorry Snowman does shows about like
Once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
One show
yeah.
per band per month.
Yeah, exactly.
But we only had one band.
So we were like
We had to do it a little more.
we kind of drew ourselves back a little bit, and yeah,
I think we average like 2 a month now.
2 a month. Yeah, I mean we've been
Okay.
I think we've been taking it easy through the Christmas season just for the exams and things like that. But yeah,
Well, I go on and on about drawing in your like local scene, but all the rules that I used to have are kind of blown out of the water now because the scene is so strong right now. So you can play two shows a month. Normally, you're not supposed to be able to really do that, but you can these days. So that's really great, and it speaks volumes of how supportive that the
yeah,
crowds
it's
are.
wonderful.
Yeah. So
Also, I think it's like you can always hop on some bills, and it's cool. We had
It's nice to have friends that feel like fans
it wa-
sometimes.
It was in April. It was in April when we did the Ottawa tour, which was our idea, where we did within like it was like a month. We did
we had a month, we had 5 shows.
Yeah, we did 5 shows one month, and it was like
how do we
see the-
spin this as not oversaturating our band?
yeah, we were like
The
we're
answer
going
is
on
you-
tour.
We're touring the city.
The diminishing returns are apparent.
It was
Right.
really funny because like at the beginning, at the first, you really get to see what that looks like, because by the end we were just like like obviously nobody's gonna come to the 5th show, right? Like
5th show of the
Yeah.
month at the Avant-Garde with out-of-town bands. They're on tour.
Yeah.
That was not even very nice of us.
That was
We didn't
not,
really
yeah.
figure that out. We just were like,
Did anyone
yay,
come out?
shows. Our
oh,
girlfriends.
yeah, our
there you
girlfriends.
go.
I
they're-
think only really the last of those 5
The
was
last
particularly
one-
bleak.
the last one was bleak.
But
Yeah.
it was like,
It was kind
there
of
was people to listen, and it felt like
Yeah.
our closest friends.
It was definitely silly, but at the same time, it was like it felt cool even to just be like, oh, I'm playing.
There's
a show.
still someone here.
And we love, like, I think the thing about me anyway is like I love playing shows. You know what I mean? Like
It's
I'm
like
pretty much
rehearsing, but fun.
I'm pretty much always
Yeah.
stoked about it. So I'm always excited and I'm always down. I'm like I'll say yes to anything. I can get behind anything. as
are
far
there
as
any
rock.
plans for any touring, like
Yeah.
going out of town and doing stuff? What's
February.
on the go there?
Yeah, so this is like, I guess this is breaking news, man. But a wonderful, like we were just talking about it, like Sean from Sorry Snowman has been helping us, and we've just been talking to him for a while about doing shows out of town. And so we've just been, we've like for the first time since, we came here, we're sort of going to be trying to do some shows and
I think it's the coming reading week,
yeah,
right?
next
That
reading week.
end
we
of
wanna-
February, kind of 8 days, we're going to try and go pretty much across Ontario.
Yeah.
Hit Montreal, too.
And it's like it's cool because I feel like this has always been that's always been my aspiration with the band, has
The
always
dream.
been like I would like to go on tour. I mean, I was thinking about this today. I was at the library and I was like, as far as like my goals with this group, like I've got there, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, obviously I'm not satisfied or whatever, but I'm just like, I'm stoked to be playing shows with, my best friends. I'm excited that we are, we're pursuing the thing that we're all really interested in together. And it's like, things are coming to fruition that way where it's like, oh, we might actually like
It's also
go to Toronto
with the,
or
like
something.
the independent recording music,
Yeah.
and it just feels like we got things in the go, like
For sure.
things we're working on,
Yeah.
even if we're not so great at publicly making people aware of that.
Well, that's the beauty of just being in a band. The fact that you just said that you're in a band with your best friends,
Yeah.
which is really cool, and you're doing really well, and you love what you're doing. So what else is there, right?
yeah,
Just
Yeah.
keep doing it.
and it feels like it's on the up usually.
It
We're
is.
always
Yeah,
having
you
fun,
know,
more
and
fun.
Touring's a little tougher because you don't know really. You know, you're talking about playing in front of your girlfriends. I don't know if your girlfriends are going with you on those
One of
shows,
them.
but
Yeah.
you gotta earn those crowds, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they don't know you. So that makes, like I've said this before, that makes you a better band, makes you
Yeah.
a stronger band.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
But
the
it-
highs and the lows. It's gonna
Yeah.
teach us some
we're
things.
We're gonna learn more. Yeah.
Yeah,
sleep
but-
on some floors.
But that tour will be something you talk about forever.
I know. That's
That's
the
The
how
whole
we
good
wanna
stuff
do it.
and the bad stuff, right?
I like today I was going through our Instagram and I was like every single story or every single like post, I'm like, I wish I could frame it and put it on my wall. I want to show my kids. You know what I mean? Like it's something so valuable to me, and it's like it is a way, it's like it's the way that I have maintained a beautiful relationship with these guys. I've like, you know, I've made so many great friends in this city, like all the bands who we've played with. I think like, but most of my social network is like, you know, dudes who I've met through music. It's like, it's a beautiful thing, you know, it's like, it's just lovely. So
Yeah, I'm pretty much a recluse, generally speaking, but even still, like,
Yeah.
the
Going to
only
shows.
friends that I've really made in this city have been through music.
Through music.
And they're always lasting relationships.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Different zoo, same old monkey.
yes,
yes,
Let's talk about the EP.
super. The
a
name,
Spotify release we're proud of.
yeah, we're stoked about it. The name is yet again a contribution from our sweet bassist Gabriel Kamba.
Just snapped into his genius head.
His beautiful mind. We were just like hanging out on the porch before a show.
Getting ready to walk our gear.
Yeah,
too.
getting ready to walk our gear to like Avant-Garde or Saw or something.
Yeah, not having a
Oh
car.
yeah, when you okay.
not
I
having a
just got
car
that,
is
yeah,
a big part of
Yeah,
this.
we don't have a car. Yeah. So we were like kind of getting ready to like haul our asses to Avant-Garde or whatever. And Gabe was just sort of like mumbling to himself. He was just sort of like just going, and he was like he was sort of like as if to it's sort of like it's almost like saying, you know, I'm in a different scenario, but I'm still the same man.
Every show is the same.
Yeah.
It's different,
And-
but it's the same.
And so he just said out loud, like he was standing behind Sam, Julian, and I. He said out loud, "Different zoo, same old monkey." And we all was just like, "What?"
Let's
Where'd
go.
that come
Let's
from?
go.
We're
Just
like,
a
"That
moment in time, eh?
I was like, "That's crazy." You know what I mean? Like it just like shook me. And then we were like, "That's gonna be the name of something. Like we have to hold on to that." And it's like it's so stupid, but it's like it's super.
It's the
dope to
Monkey
us.
Project, our first serious project.
And then basically like we had kind of like one of those songs already on the go-ish, like existing
Don't You Look has been,
around
I think we started making the demos for that, like, maybe even before we
Queer
had played
Connections.
show
Yeah,
in
before Queer
Ottawa.
Connections.
Shows in Ottawa.
And then the other two, I mean, one of the songs we recorded in like Sam's bedroom of the duplex. Like, by the way, I'm not sure if this is clear. Like, we for the first like 2 years of our time in Ottawa, like me, Sam, and Julian like lived together. They've just got their own place, but we used to like how we organized was like in Sam's bedroom we had the drum kit as like one side of the room, and then like our amps in like a totem pole type of stack in the middle of the
center
room.
stacked
Yeah.
to project.
And then his
out.
Center stack.
and then his mattress just on the floor. And so we recorded a snorkeling song in Sam's bedroom, just in the house.
Flip the mattress against the wall. You got room for 4 guys.
And then Fukuyama and Galaxion, we went into
Little Bullhorn.
Little Bullhorn Studios.
Dave Draves.
Yeah, with
Yes.
Dave.
We
And
didn't-
we recorded those two there, and we did them on tape, which was
Yeah.
we were really stoked about at the time.
And
Yeah,
it-
he's
it
got
wa-
he's got the 2-inch machine there.
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a.
buttons.
Yeah.
It made cool
It's like,
noises.
let me correct the phase on
It
that.
made cool noises.
we didn't have
Um,
quite enough tracks to like live record, like not enough inputs to do Fukuyama and Galaxion, like whole band just snap into it. But that's was kind of our vision for those songs.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we didn't have enough money
to do a lot of music
yeah,
there.
and we didn't like we weren't paying him to produce us, just to
Yeah.
tape us.
Yeah.
So we got those tapes,
Gotcha,
and I
yeah, yeah.
mixed and
Just track it.
mastered and overdubbed everything else.
And so like basically it started out with just we were thinking about just doing a single, and then we just were like, well, let's make it a double, and then we were like, let's make it a triple. Like
Thringle.
We were like first ever Thringle. Like it's like a triple.
And then as soon as you're thinking about ideas like that, you gotta strip it back and think, I'm not that special.
We can't
I'm not
do a Thringle.
reinventing
It's
the
an EP.
wheel. It's either a single or an EP.
Yeah.
And so we decided to go bigger than smaller.
Yeah. And so we dropped the EP, and it was gnarly. We're stoked about it.
It's great. I was in Cornwall yesterday, and I put it on for the drive home. Fukuyama is the first track on the EP. That's really fun song. Snorkeling song.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a. How do you write a song? Okay, I guess you could start a song like that. How do you finish a song about snorkeling?
About swimming? I mean, to be honest, man, I'm just like gonna level with you. I think about swimming every day.
Okay.
Like,
see,
We are deeply aquatic.
yeah,
The
dude,
water
like,
is a
like,
source
think,
of
Think we were
peace.
just talking
There you
about
go.
it. Like from the very beginning, we've been
Floating.
out by
Oh, the
Lucy.
boats.
Even out by Lucy, we're out by Lucy. We're out on the water. You know what I mean? And so, I wrote that song. I remember I was inspired by like. Kind of Get Back. I was thinking about a lot. Like I know it doesn't necessarily show, but like the like the Sweet Loretta Tharpe or whatever. You know what I mean?
Sweet Loretta Martin.
Yeah, excuse
Sister
me. of
Rosetta
course.
Thorne.
Yeah, exactly. And like those kind of ideas of just like like and I was talking about the Kinks earlier, like writing a character and then just doing like some goofy thing around it. And I just kept like verses just kept coming where I was like, oh, it'd be funny if I was like if I wrote about a duck, and then I was like. Really, I mean, to be just completely soberly honest with you, the song is a lot about, I mean, kind of being inebriated and doing outdoor activities, you know what I mean? And I think that reflected in the lyrics and just
Smoke weed, climb a tree.
yeah, like that's the heart of the tune.
It's a primal idea.
It's a primal tune. And yeah, I mean that's really what it's all about. I think I will say it's probably the dumbest song I've written. Like to date.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I mean, no, but it's okay. I'm like dumb isn't a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just not. It's so unserious, and I'm still stoked about it. I still love that tune. But
it was definitely unique for
I
sure.
think vaguely inspired as well by the Loudon Wainwright, the swimming song.
yeah, oh yeah, of course, yeah. Loudon Wainwright the third. Another big inspiration for me. I started playing banjo because of the swimming song. I was talking to Nick from Dartrees about that. That's the first thing he said when I said it to him. He's like, I can feel Loudon Wainwright the third. And I was like,
That is a huge
and I was like-
compliment, man.
And I was like, thank you. It was like really like a bullseye.
You did it.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, so now that you're playing shows, now that the EP is out, you have some touring coming up in February. What do you see? What do you want from 2024 for Out by Lucy?
Oh man, I mean,
More music.
More music. I think we got over the hump. I think with the EP of just like
We're not scared to release anymore.
yeah, it's time to put because it's like I said, like we have so much material that we've written, and I just like I feel like we're constantly writing and we're constantly
like
making new things.
We've been making sets like albums for
Yeah.
a long time, and then being like, well, that set could be an album if we ever find a way to record that. But
It's
now we
just
want to do
time.
it,
Yeah.
and now we have a lot of that gear in our own basement.
Yeah, so Sam and Julian, like they moved out in their own place, and now they've sort of set up like their downstairs is more of like a recording area, like a practice space and recording area.
It's gone from my bedroom is like the control
whole
room,
thing.
and the area where my mattress is when it isn't flipped up against the wall is
the
the
tracking
recording
area.
space. To I have 2 floors of basement to
Yeah.
work in.
That's awesome, and just the ability to be able to do that nowadays, where you can record your own stuff, and that's you don't have to worry about anything really. You can just be like, all right, let's do it.
Also, I mean, Sam's like he's very skilled as far as like production, and so he's working our back end, and that's been great. 'cause-
I think a big part of like feeling confident enough to put out our own recordings beyond Pressdown is that I started working as an audio tech for Carleton University
Okay.
September of last year, I guess, which I was, some would say, underqualified for before I started working there. And it taught me a lot of practical knowledge about audio
Good.
production and handling and live support and
Sure, and
things that are relevant to recording your own music, for
Even-
sure.
even
yeah,
just
you
talking
probably
to
fell into
dudes.
it pretty good too, from what you were learning, because it was just building on what you already kind
Yeah,
of figured out on your
exactly.
own, right? So that's
Talking
cool.
to people who've been making albums for a long
we
time.
just played Sam's boss's birthday party like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
It was very cool. It was very gnarly.
that's good. That's awesome. Okay, well, is there any other
stuff you want to talk about? Any shout outs you want to give to people?
I mean, shout outs. The whole beautiful community we have here in Ottawa.
Shout out to the Ottawa scene, as it were.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to
all of our friends that we can call fans.
Yeah, everybody who comes out to shows, obviously. First.
It means so much.
It's incredible that people care about our music, and then like all the wonderful bands we've played with this year, especially like. Man, I don't even want to start listing because it'll be too long.
It's hard to do.
Shout out to you, Mike, for giving us a voice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, we were saying before the podcast started, like, it's very dope that you do this, and it's like
it's always nice to just be given an hour to talk about your thing.
Yeah, you're happy that it was only an hour because we would just keep going. You know? There's no stopping.
Well, there's no rules saying there can't be a part 2 down the road.
Dude, wonderful.
Next time we put something out, maybe.
We're not even that far.
Hey, we could even do 5 a month. Oh, wait, maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not. All right. Thank you so much for being on. I have a game that we're going to play, though, if you want to play.
Yes, games.
But I want you to know that you guys are doing really great because every band that has come in of your peers, when I asked them to give a shout-out or whatever, or when they're just talking off mic, Out by Lucy always comes up. So you're making a definite impact with your peers and in the music scene and in the community. So congratulations.
It's appreciated.
Mike,
and keep going. All right. So I have a game that I play with everybody. It's called 13 Questions with the Band.
Love the
right
game.
on.
Would you like to play?
Sure.
Yes.
All right. Let's do it.
Time for 13 questions with the band. Yes, this segment's back again. It's called 13 questions, but I only asked 6, maybe 5.
Okay. This is 13 Questions with
Out by Lucy.
Out by Lucy.
Out by Lucy.
Okay, each of you can answer. What was the first album, whether it be CD, vinyl, anything that you bought with your own money?
Mine was Boston's More Than a Feeling on vinyl record.
I'm trying to think about this because I was born of the age where I don't have, I've never been that into buying physical music because I can't afford a record player, generally speaking, or I allocate my funds otherwise. If I think about it, I'm going to go with first concert that I paid money for, if that's all right.
That's actually the next question. So why don't you just hit a pass?
Yeah, that works for me.
Pass.
Sorry about that.
All right. No, that's okay.
I mean, that's probably good for me too.
Okay, we're gonna pass. Wow,
Just Boston's More Than a Feeling.
my
never bought a record.
Yeah, my question just dated my game. Jeez. Okay. Anyway, next question with Out by Lucy.
I'm all for physical format.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Superior age.
What was the first concert you ever went to?
Oh man, because I think thinking back, like my dad took me to concerts when I was a little kid. I think that mine might have been Paul McCartney. I remember Live and Let Die came on, and he like shoots cannons at the show.
Yeah, he's got crazy pyrotechnics.
Explosions.
And so I was so not stoked about that as like a 5-year-old, and I was like, I started freaking out, and my dad had to take me out of his, like Paul McCartney, and like take me into the, like whatever the hallway of the Scotiabank Center
where
or whatever.
you put your stupid loser
your
kids
stupid loser
when they
kid,
can't
and
deal
you
with
have
Paul.
to you have to listen to Band on the Run through a brick wall. So sorry, Dad, yet again.
Collectively, actually, the three of us were at the first real concert that I saw, which was River and Sky Music Festival in Field, Ontario,
Super
near
sweet.
Sudbury.
Was it in a field?
It's actually by a
river.
It's more like in a valley, I suppose.
Field,
But
Ontario.
somehow
concert in a field.
they got to name a town Field.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, it was a great music festival, and I think we were really lucky to have seen it the year that we did because we saw a lot of
Luna
up
Lee.
and coming
Any
artists.
highlights?
We saw Luna Lee from Toronto. We saw Orville Peck
Super
from wherever
incredible.
he's from.
Alton Goon.
Alton Goon
which was
from
incredible. Oh
Turkey
my God.
and
Mdu Mokhtar.
Amsterdam.
It's a great name.
Mdu
On the
Mokhtar
beach.
from
Mdu
Niger.
Mokhtar.
Who became
Mdu
like a
Mokhtar.
lot of these people immediately became pretty big hits.
Super
Like it just
big,
felt like a
yeah.
really cutting lineup for some reason to us.
Luna Lee, Orville Peck went crazy. Mdu Mokhtar went crazy.
Alton Goon was
Alton
was
Goon.
huge to us.
Yeah, Alton
so
Goon
we were
still
following
is a
them.
wonderful band. They came on. I was driving around with some friends of ours, and they came on the radio and like, "What is this?" And I was like, "This is Alton Goon, man. This is cool."
Psychedelic rehashings of Turkish folk music.
Yeah, it's really, really
Sure.
good. Yeah.
It's great. I was thinking there's another concert we all went to, and pretty late in my life, like pretty recently, but I just haven't really gone to a lot of concerts that inspired me that much, which is funny being in a band. But Andy Schaaf at the Bronson, we are all a huge fan of his music. I think his storytelling has inspired, well, I think Harrison. I don't write the songs, but his music is very
I
inspiring.
like it. I'm a big fan. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Okay. What is your desert island record? If you got stranded on a desert island, you can only bring one with you.
That's a tough one.
Not for me, dude. I know. Paul McCartney Band on the Run. Easy
good
money.
choice.
Easy money. No skips. Top.
Good choice. I'm gonna say Pink Moon, Nick
Yeah, that's a good
Drake.
choice.
2020 album, If I'm Only My Thoughts.
Fire.
Very introspective
Loving.
and sweet.
Yeah.
That is a lovely album.
Great.
Very cool.
Okay, next question. If you had a time machine and you could go back to any moment in music history, where would you go?
That's
Like
such
to
an
witness
interesting
it, I mean.
question.
Hendrix doing the right after the Sgt. Pepper dropped, doing the live
Oh,
Sgt.
yeah.
Pepper, just like improv. That seemed dope.
That was probably
That's a good
you probably would have
choice.
blown out your eardrums, but that's,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I'd be afraid, but
Man, it's such a basic answer. I thought about this the other day. Rooftop concert for sure.
true.
Honestly, like, and because also you get to hear the bass, you get to hear the whole album like 5 times.
Would you want to be on the roof or on the street?
Oh, that's a difficult. I mean, obviously
Roof.
On the roof. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Okay.
sure. And
If you couldn't be on the roof, but and you could only be on the street, would it still be your answer?
well, yeah. Here's the thing: if I was on the street, I know what I would do. I'd be able to intervene in history, and
Stop the cop.
I'd be able to stop the cops, and I'd let them finish. Because you know how the cops came and shut them down. They're going to do another run.
You'd fight the law.
I could have retroactively they probably would have kept the band together, man, if it wasn't for me.
I feel like that's kind of like
You
a
could've
dream
saved the
I could have
concert.
Beatles.
saved the Beatles, right? I would have got them to talk to each other. Put them in the group therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you argue? That's probably the best answer
Yeah,
I've gotten.
yeah.
Yeah. You could have saved the damn. Okay.
They'd be together today, releasing music as 4 living men.
Yeah. spry and energetic.
You fool.
You guys took both of my answers
sorry,
already,
buddy.
so
Yeah, we're
I
very
gotta think
alike.
about this.
Our first show, Sam.
Yeah, I'd re-experience our first show, Kenner Coffee House, and see just small children clowning.
Yeah, clowning kids.
It'd be beautiful.
Very good. Okay, couple more. Oh yeah. If Out by Lucy could open or play with any band, who would you want to play with? I
The
guess that's for
Beatles
everybody.
that Harrison just got back together, I think, would do us
Now,
well.
the original Beatles or the new Beatles?
The new Beatles.
Well, it's it's-
Alternate timeline Beatles.
Okay, you guys.
Okay.
But also,
the
I'm
multiverse Beatles.
I'm
Okay.
thinking tactically right now, and I know that they're not going to agree.
Lemon Twigs.
Okay, Lemon Twigs.
Come on.
Twigs.
Yeah,
be
as
Lemon
far as a
Twigs in
current-
this era.
current
but I'm
band
thinking
that's
but
in line
as far
with
as
what we're up
who's
to.
going to shoot us into immediate global stardom, right?
Totally.
Like you have to think about that,
Totally.
and that's obviously my main concern.
Uh-huh.
Probably like what do we do, like Drake or like Taylor Swift, right? Like if you're trying to get immediately 1 billion people to look at you.
Do you
know
think
what I mean?
Drake and Taylor Swift would let us open for them as
For-
a singular show?
Well, they could open for us, man. You
can't
know
go-
what I mean? Get Drake up
Yep.
first. Yeah.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with Tay-Tay.
Yeah, absolutely not.
There you go. Is that everyone's answer?
Like,
I'm trying to think about like maybe a real answer.
yeah.
I
I
thought-
think Lemon Twigs was
I do
Yeah.
think Lemon Twigs is the best.
Yeah, that's and they're the band. Like as far as a current band,
We're
that
very
we just,
inspired
like,
by them.
We are all so stoked about Everything Harmony. Their record that came out this year. I mean, it blew us all away. Like it was paradigm shift record.
inspiring.
Desert Island Record.
Yeah, that's another Desert Island.
There you
record.
go.
Toss
There you
that
go.
one on.
There you
That's-
go. Only we had a question that was. Oh wait.
Oh,
Okay, couple more. If you could have if you could have a drink or a meal or something with any musician from history, who would it be?
good question. Who would I muck with? Who would I chill with in that way? Let me think.
I think going back to my Desert Island record answer, probably Nick Drake. He's so incredibly undocumented.
You'd want to talk to him.
I'd be
yeah.
very interested to see. Well, you know what? It might be scary. I hear he wasn't.
He seemed like an unpleasant guy.
He wasn't in best of mental
Wasn't very
health,
happy.
but
Yeah.
I would certainly be interested.
I'm trying to like think of like, because we're talking about dining and like that's important to me. I'm trying to think of like who do I think out of the artists that I love also would bring me something nice. Like, do we get to choose the place? Do you know what I mean? Like, are we going where they're going? Do you know what I mean? Are we eating at their house?
Sure.
Okay, I'm at their house. Okay, let me think.
They're cooking for you.
Well, if they're cooking me, that's a whole other thing, Sam.
Don't make this too complicated.
Yeah, it's really tricky for me. Let me think. I don't know. Probably maybe Andy Schauf, man. He's kind of the man. I just feel like I've been at me and
It'd be
Sam.
so
I've
great
met
to
him,
talk
yeah.
to him.
Me and Sam have hung out with him before, and it was crazy.
Sam bought his guitar.
Yeah,
I saw his listing on Kijiji,
yeah, and
I went into his house.
and he was such a profoundly chill guy. So I
Seriously,
feel like
very
hanging out
nice
with him in Toronto, maybe go to the Neon Skyline. You know?
I'd have a
maybe.
fantastic meal.
Yeah,
What's his name? Ringo.
Ringo. Yeah, Ringo. Yeah,
He's a very cutting edge musician right now.
yeah.
I really want his opinions on the scene right now.
He'd also probably teach you drumming tricks.
Yeah,
You
that
don't
would be
know. He'll teach you how to be
The
left-handed.
subplot.
Yeah.
There you go, Ringo.
Top.
Did everyone answer?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I drifted there.
Yeah.
All I heard, the last thing I remember is Ringo.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
the-
my name? Ringo.
The very last question.
Genius stuff.
The very last question of 13 questions with Out by Lucy is, what is Out by Lucy?
It's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Cousinship.
100% cousinship. Yeah.
It's
like,
all about being related.
These are my boys, and like we were talking about, we are. I don't know. We're like lifelong friends. It's been a very sweet journey that I've been privileged to have with the lads, and
It's a friendship. It's
Yeah.
an idea. It's a creative outlet.
Rock and roll, like sort of a mentality rather than a genre.
yeah, I think
It's a place to funnel my excessive amounts of
Mm-hmm.
energy.
I think for us, rock and roll is like not just music, like Julian was saying. Like
It's
isn't
some sort of mentality we have
It's a-
about doing things.
it's a metaphysical state or some shit. Like you know what I mean?
Like the show must go on.
Yeah.
But about,
being.
yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful thing.
You guys are a lot of fun.
Thank you, man.
You've obviously known each other since childhood, just by the way your chemistry and your communication is, which is really fun because it's a great conversation. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having us, Mike.
For sure. I
Happy
wish
to be
you
here.
nothing but the best, and I hope you just keep going and all the success comes to you. And I think it will. I think
Thank
it
you.
will.
Thank
And
you.
we'll do part 2 down the road, all right?
All right, yeah.
All right, take care.
All right, guys, we are hopping back on the mic to let you know that we've decided within the band that we're going to leak an upcoming single on the podcast. This is a song we've written called Longer that we play at some shows, and we hope you enjoy it. Something special for the people who really listen through the whole thing.
Oh, well, I can see that you are my dreams. I just can't believe for a little while longer. Just a little while longer. I can't trust my eyes now when I see your face, and I want you so badly. I fear that's a mistake. I've got nothing to show now. I've got nothing but faith. If I lose you, my baby, you'll be the one I can replace.
Hey, so that's it for episode 121. I really want to thank Julian, Harrison, and Sam for coming out. Out by Lucy. Great guys. Great band. If you want to get a hold of me, you can always reach me at egoandvice@gmail.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, you can search Ego and Vice Podcast on any streaming site. I'm the only one out there. So do that. I only have 2 more podcasts to go until the end of season 6. My last podcast will be the season finale, and that should be sometime in the end of December, around December 28th or 7th or 8th or something like that. And then I'm taking a month off and I'm going snowboarding. As I always say, be good to yourself and be good to those who are good to you. See you next week.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.